Um, Good afternoon, Shazia.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for giving us the time to share your experiences and to share your story of migration as a migrant woman from Pakistan and now based in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. I would like to welcome you, and I would like to start by asking you if you would like to briefly share with us about your journey and the challenges that you faced once you arrived in the Netherlands. Because you were qualified, you were highly qualified person, and you were a doctor and a medical doctor in Pakistan. So I would like to ask you if you would like to share your challenges you faced in getting maybe equivalence to your educational qualifications that you brought from Pakistan.
No, thank you, Breen. Yeah, if looking back, it's just like, oh wow. So when I came here, it looks like a big mountain I have to conquer. Um, yes, I'm always from these small steps. So I just begin with learning language. My husband had already applied for a master's in fertility, but they also said now I have to go through the basic medical exams and then I will get to admission to master's. So that was very strange. So I began with language, and in for doctors they have also another sort, like for university students if they come here they have to give these state exam for language. They call start exam for NT2 level.
So, sorry to disrupt here, Shazia. Maybe would you like to share with us what was your qualification from Pakistan, and when did you arrive from Pakistan? So we start our story from there.
Okay.
When you
Okay.
arrived in from Pakistan, and what was the educational qualification, and then starting from how you took those small steps you just mentioned.
Okay. In Pakistan in 1995, I was qualified as a MBBS doctor from Rawalpindi Medical College, Rawalpindi. And then I worked there in government hospitals, also in semi-government hospitals. Finally, I made my own clinic there. I worked 10 years there as a doctor. Um, and then I came here. So I'm mother of two children, two daughters. One was almost 6, like she was 5 years, the other was 5 months. And when I came here, it was 18th of November 2005 when I came here. And yeah, then in 2006, I began with my language classes. In 2007, I got to this states exam. For that is after for 1 year. Then I went there to university for this language classes. So after 1 year, I had the diploma. The diploma was also not in the first time. I have take 4 takes to get to that diploma. I got third child also. It was not so fine with my health also. So I got this diploma. Then for medical, I should do this medical Netherlands. So it is not like for state exam. It is compulsory for your university education. And I had the state exam, I have done it, but I was not so confident in talking in Dutch. Like I can understand, I can write, but talking was a bit difficult. Like active use of language was difficult. So for the exam as a doctor, I should go through. They call this AKV AKV test. It's like A, K, and V test. Like Algemeen Kennis en Vaardigheden. So you have to go through English language test, computer test, and Dutch language, and knowledge of the public health knowledge for the Dutch system. So the all the other parts were just cleared in one take, but for Dutch language, it was so difficult. It was like every time you have 1 point less in presentation, or you have 1 point less in talking with patient. Like you have always actors that you have to do, like the talks. So I was a bit desperate. After 4 times that I could not get through, I was desperate. I said, they are not going to allow me to do this medical thing. So somebody said me that you have to do some internships, like to come in contact with Dutch people, because at home my husband is also a Pakistani, and most of the time I'm talking in Urdu or Punjabi, so it is not going to help to improve my Dutch. And so I should go out and I should work. So I was working on voluntary basis, and that was like in a different. I have worked in different what is private practice? No, not private practice, no, but GPs. I've done internship with GPs also in hospitals, like for to improve my language. And then they say, okay, you can do this post habeo study, like it is like a after bachelor type of study, that you can give a care to diabetic patient, like diabetes care and elderly people care. Like they have also created this that job because GPs are very busy with the patients. So many patients with chronic problems, they need more attention. So they like patient with diabetes, patient with hypertension, and chronic problems. You should talk about their patterns, about their moving, eating pattern, and all the things. So then you are also working like a doctor and did that thing. So I say, okay, I have nothing to do. I am going to do this. I begin with that was 2 years study. They said do it for in 1 year. So I begin there, and anywhere middle in that study, I attempted once more the exam for arts for doctor, and I got cleared. I don't know how it came. Maybe I was a bit improved in talking, like a bit fluent. So then they say, okay. Then afterward, that was the first. I have done that diploma also, but then I got the advice from the Ministry of Health and Sport that I should do 2 years of internships and then I will get a medical diploma, because I'm at age, like I was almost 40. So they think I'm 38. So they think now you are almost 40. Maybe what you have learned is now um, you have unlearned and all the things. So I thought this is discrimination because you have taken so many exams from me, all the clinical exams and the knowledge exams. And after that, you are just giving this advice that I should go for 2 years because of my age. Um, that felt like a discrimination. And even then, I had a few days. I was not so happy with that. I had done I went to appeal. I said, no, I'm not going to accept this because the same marks, other colleague of me, she get the same mark, almost same marks, and she is getting for 6 months, and I'm getting for 2 years. And they say, okay, but she's young and this like thing. So I was like, oh, and then I went to minister in appeal, and they say, okay, this is still our advice, and yeah, you don't need to follow it. You're not, yeah, it's not a compulsion. But then I say, what then? Okay, then you don't need to follow it. Then I'm not going to get anything like from here. So it is your choice, follow it or not.
So that means that if you don't do additional 2 years of a sort of revision, or then
Yeah.
you don't qualify to be a.
Then you are not a medical doctor here. It's your choice.
And this was in year.
Huh?
This was in which year?
I think it was 2008.
Okay. Okay. So you needed to do 2 additional years for the
Yeah.
same qualification just to revise.
I think it was not 2008. I think 2009 or 10. I think because then I begin with the afterwards. After 1 year, I begin with the internships, and I've done it in 2013. I got a registration here, like big registration uh, for the medical doctors. So I completed that, and from then, 1 whole year, I was just looking for jobs. I was not getting it, so that was also very painful for me. to realize how it is going on. Then I took some coaching, and I have to learn a bit techniques, how to come to this interview, and how to talk with these people. So that was also something I was not doing. So I've learned that. And from 2014, I'm working as a medical doctor. First, I began in a for playhouse, like elderly people home, um, and then I went to psychiatry. So I have worked in psychiatry most of the time. Then a few months in addiction medicine, and then I have been through some bad experiences at work, and then I decided to do this coaching counseling exam study, like psychotherapy. I began there, and then I also began as a working as a company doctor. So now I'm still working as a company doctor. So, and also as a integrative coach, counselor, and hypnotherapist, and psychotherapy also. So this is the journey until now. Yeah.
Thank you, Shazia. I mean, of course, this has been a very challenging journey, but you never gave up. You know, perseverance is the
Well,
key.
I was a bit slow, but I was just going.
Yes, that's the thing,
Yeah, with children and everything, I think it's fine.
Yes, of course. Like
Mm.
you've made progress and you have been doing things, and also realizing along the journey, what is it that you want and what is it that you do not want. I think realizing it and then acting upon that, what your personal judgment tells you, what Shazia tells you that this is you, go for it, and this is not for you, so just leave it. I think that is something that many of us struggle, and particularly I also struggle with that. So
Mm.
thank you for sharing your experience.
You're
I'd
welcome.
just like to ask if, um, because you mentioned you came to the Netherlands with 10 years of work experience as a medical doctor.
Yeah.
So if your educational qualification was not recognized here in the first place, then what about the 10 years of work experience that you brought here? Was that acknowledged at any stage of your journey or no?
Uh, that they never said that I have not. That is also a bit tricky, very, very interesting. When I came here, when I was new here, I was just integrating. I went to for language classes, and I talked with people what I have done, and so I talked with teachers also, and they said, okay, we don't say that you what you have done, you have not done. Like we can't say that you don't possess medical knowledge. We can't say that. Just we don't recognize it. We don't. Yeah, that is like arcane. We don't recognize it. You have to show it that you possess it and like things. So it was a bit strange. So they never said that I have no experience. So and that they could see also during my stages also I was so, yeah, I knew many things. I have never been like with three children and doing these stages again. I had actually no time to open my books and the things, so I was using my previous knowledge all the time. But I have to go through this time. When you say this temporalities and the time things, then I say I have to go through this time. And it is not just to show my knowledge or to improve anything. It is just they want this and I have to do this. I have no other option.
Yes. So, which I mean, I can build on what you just mentioned that what worked for you here is your lived experiences
Mm.
and also your embodied knowledges that you brought from,
Yeah.
Pakistan, from your experience working in Pakistan.
Yeah. But also it was also fine to work here also, you see the things differently. There are many things that are advanced here than Pakistan. I think working in Pakistan is more valuable. Then you work with limited resources. And how I have worked in a hospital that was in Rawalpindi. It was DHQ hospital, district headquarters hospital. That was not, yeah, in comparison with other two big hospitals, that was at the third position. So, but yeah, I think I have so much respect for myself also, and also for my other colleagues who were working there and were still working there, that how they cope with all the stress and all the pressure of work. We have too much work and we have so much little resources that we do there. But I have learned here is a bit luxury, like luxury. That I think it is, yeah, you made first appointment and then you come to doctor. But in Pakistan, Rawalpindi, there was in our OPDs, just people came here. So there were like 200 women per day. You have to see them. Yeah, we were looking in a team with my colleagues, but it was really hard working there. So for me, it was just, oh, relax, chill pill. Like, so I also enjoy with my mothership, enjoy with my children and with work also. Luckily, my husband was also helping with children, like bringing them to school, letting them come to home. And I'm not there. Or if I have night duties, then he's here. Otherwise, I had no family here. So, but I think the work was not so heavy. Like in Pakistan, we had experiences. But then I was also young. I have never felt it like that.
Totally.
Yeah,
Things are, of course, different, and you learn. Uh,
but I can later, when I was not getting the job, then one of the coach that I had, she has helped me. She told me that you are not talking very proudly about your work experience in Pakistan. Um, I think they don't recognize our diplomas, and then we think that they don't recognize anything. But it's not true. So your story you have to tell yourself, and that get heard and that get recognized.
yeah.
And since that time, I get very easily work, so it is no problem. Like work is no problem. Getting work. It was a problem when I was not when I was not showing completely who I am.
Yes. I mean, that's how you navigated the disregard of your maybe degrees or the qualification that you brought, but you found a way out, and and you moved forward in what you actually wanted to pursue.
Yeah.
Um, I also wanted to ask you, Shazia, like you mentioned during our own discussions sometime, that you also felt that there is a difference in everyday life, the norms and the in everyday life that we practice here as compared to the norms that we had back in our countries. So, for example, some knowledge, some way of doing things, some ways of being may be different back home and are different here. So, would you like to share maybe a story of something that was very different back home and your understanding of that thing was very different as compared to when you arrived here? And people would look at the same thing very differently because the norms are different, and they sort of disregarded or maybe felt that you're doing awkward or you're behaving awkward in the way that you were doing something,
Mhm.
because that is different from what we have been
Yeah,
doing.
there are many things that are different. And the norm is also what is normal here, that is normal there. So we should have uh, we have many things that are different. Um, very simple things like alcohol. In our household, we never drink it. We can't find it freely available in Pakistan on streets or in shops. Here you can see it. It is by every function you find it. People are drinking. Previously, I thought that people who are drinking are not, yeah, it's not normal, and that they are talking and they are also aware of what they're talking. So now I see that many people they just drink one most of the time during the whole of the without the two another like units, but they don't take many much. But that was also something. Okay, I'm not going to do that. It is so deep rooted my value. I'm not going to do that. I've never done this. But I have not a thing like negative thing about them. So they can also drink it, and it's okay for them, and they can also drink and talk with me. But if someone is too much drunk and smoke, yeah, uh, I'm smelling that. I don't find it very fine to be in the neighbor of that person. So I just go away. It is not that the person is not fine. I always like people, but when they are drunk, I'm not very very fine with. Or smoke is also, but smoke is something not just for here. It's also there. Some people do, some people don't. Like Farkan, where that pig. So if I'm not eating, other people are eating. It's okay. I'm totally okay. They may eat whatever they want, and they also respect for us. If I'm going to some colleagues like Dutch people or other countries, other nationality, and they also make for me like vegetarian food or fish or halal. Sometimes they also buy halal. So I just I have all the respect for that they are doing this for me. So I like this. I think in multicultural society there are many things that are different, but it requires willingness from both the sides to see and accept other people as they are and don't want to change or alter them. But we have right to follow our own way of living, and they have right to follow their own way of living, and all of them are good people. So if we begin with changing each other, then it is a problem. You know, there's a problem. I can change myself. I can't change other people. And what I want to change, that I am going to change. If I don't want to change my value, if I find it fine that I have never drunk alcohol and I'm okay with it, that's fine. And if other people drink and they can't supposed to be to have a function without alcohol, it's also fine. Prima. It's also like good. They can also have it.
Yeah.
So I have no hate or anything like this. So I just see the people who are very good, and yeah, what they do, if that is not creating a problem for me, it's no problem.
Uh, Thank you, Shazia. I think that's a very important perspective that acceptance is the thing that it takes to have a harmonious life in a multicultural society.
Yeah,
I would
willingness
also,
also, willingness also from both the sides. So it is not just they should be willing to accept us; we should also be willing to accept them, and that's why then and to accept that we are different,
yeah,
and that should be different. The differences are there and they must remain, because these are the beautiful things. Like all the flowers are not the same, but all the different flowers are beautiful in their own way. So we are not going to make all of them like the same.
such
So
a
are the
beautiful
people.
concept. Very beautiful. I mean, like always, you express it in a very powerful way and yet beautiful. Um, so thank you for sharing that. I just wonder, did you find any, everyday norm different, and how was the reaction of the local Dutch people? For example, maybe you never knew how to ride a bicycle, or maybe you would have kept your curtains down, you know, whereas the Dutch people always have their, um, um, artifacts and displayed in the windows, and they so did you have any of such experience, and how was the reaction of the local people on that, knowing that you don't know how to ride a bicycle, or why do you keep your curtains down, or something like that, or maybe why do you cover your this, or maybe something like that.
I think Dutch people are cool in this way. Everybody is busy with themselves. They are, yeah. I have seen also many people who talk about migrants. I have also experienced also on street that why these migrants are you Turk, why you are coming here, like the things they can't see in my on my face that I'm not a Turk. But anyway, they just discriminate. But most of the time, everybody is just living their own life. They are not. So if I am on street and I'm when I yeah, coincidentally I have also learned cycling here, and I was very old. I think at that moment I was 14, 42. So when I learned cycling. I took my cycle and I was in the park, and there was another woman who helped me. Was an old woman. She said, "Yes, good." I said, "Good so, my Frau." She was taking. He just helped me in learning. So it was not so. She was just motivating. Um, but there are also other things like when I was just very recent here, like I think after 1 week or so, I was going through a park and there was a cycle. There was someone on cycle and he stopped and he started shouting at me, why you're walking here? This is a park and you should be walking outside. You should know that I am here. I was just so much surprised and I didn't know what I have to say. He was just like in Dutch, and I could not understand why he was shouting at me. And there was another girl coming from back, and she began to shout at him. She said, "This is a park. You're not supposed to ride a bicycle here. You should not be here, not she." And he was so, and he ran away. He was just went away. He was not there anymore. So I have seen people who were making problems, and I have also seen people who were helping. So it is not like so that. Most of the time people are helping, but you can't say that there are people who are not helping. There are people who are also creating hurdles, but most of the time they're helping. And now I am helping everybody who is coming to me. So I say, okay, we should create a circle of like positivity and helping each other. So because if someone he makes try to create hurdles, that there are 10 other people who are making to helping already to make the things happy and easy for other people. So
Yes, totally. Shazia, it's always give and take. And like you
mm.
mentioned, it goes in circles. Thank you for sharing your beautiful thoughts and your powerful thoughts. It's been always, like I always say to you, that it's always the chai for my brain. And I, many a times during the week, I think about the Saturday that I'm going to talk to you, and
Ah,
my mind wakes up and says, "Oh, I want to talk about this with Shazia. I want to discuss this," and it's always a player thinking about talking to you, and of course, talking to you is like the best thing of the week. So thank you for
I'm also very happy that you are also taking this step. I was asking this last year also.
yeah.
So I also appreciate your ideas and your research also. So it's very nice to talk with you. Yeah,
Yes,
same here.
always. So I look forward to our discussion next week. And I thank you for taking time out today from your busy schedule. I understand you have a family and children, and Saturday is a day that you make special arrangement to give a couple of hours to us. But I mean, I love this us time. So
Yeah, I also.
thank you very much, and see you next
Yeah.
week.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.